Hey folks, and welcome back to another one of my videos. I'm Brendan from Blue Light, and these are the videos to watch if you're interested in all things police recruitment. So today, Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, has been at the Police Chiefs and the Policing and Crime Commissioners Conference, where she gave a talk about how the police must do more to reduce crime, and that's the sort of headline that's hitting all the papers in the evening. But one of the things she said that I thought was interesting was in terms of the 20,000 uplift. I know she refers to it as extra police officers. They're not extra at all. The 20,000 police officers, in addition to the ones that are going to be recruited anyway over the next 3 years, will just return the police service to just under the number of officers it had in 2010. And that's not going to replace the closed police stations or all the police staff that have had to go. Anyway, it's a good start, and I don't think anyone is going to say no, bad thing. It's an absolutely great thing to do, to invest back in our wonderful police service again. And one of the things that Priti Patel said today, which has been underreported, I think, and I'll quote it exactly from my laptop here: "We must harness this unprecedented opportunity to create the representative forces of the future we all want." Now, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that, but the problem is, at this moment in time, at the current rate of improvement in terms of diversity, not just visible, but diversity in terms of LGBT, disabilities, non-visible diversity, people who are white, who may be from the Czech Republic or Bulgaria or America or Australia or wherever, just that full wealth, that beautiful, wonderful wealth of diversity, which the police service should have within it to be truly representative of the communities that it is a part of. It's not there. And at the current rate, it's going to be, because I think she mentioned how she wants to, in a future conference, see a more diverse workforce. At the current rate of change, she's going to have to stay alive for a long time, because it's going to be another 100 years at the current rate of change before the Metropolitan Police, one of the more diverse police forces in one of the more diverse parts of this country, is going to be at the point where it is truly representative. So that'd be 2120. I had to think about that, how you actually say it. So 2120 in 100 years' time at the current rate of change. Is that good enough? We are now decades after the Macpherson report, where police chiefs promised that they were going to do something about this. We're not even nudging close to representation. Across England and Wales, the 2011 census indicated that the black, Asian, minority ethnic communities made up 13% of the total population. I think Priti Patel said something about it being about 15. Commentators that I listen to and read talk about it being closer to nudging around 20%, because we've got countries like Bulgaria and Romania who, although part of the EU in 2011, wasn't until 2013 that they could live and work in this country and have that free movement to live and work, not just have free movement to be here. So there's been a lot of changes since. Be interesting to see what the next census brings. But in any case, it's nothing like 13% anymore. But the representation of black, Asian, minority ethnic in the police service is still hovering around 7%. And we don't have a black chief officer. We've not had a black chief officer for a long time. The representation within the chief officers, the senior ranks, is absolutely dismal. I can't remember what the figure is, but it's far less than 7%. So there's a big challenge here. And over the past week, that challenge has articulated itself in Twitter, social media, the local press, national press, around do we need positive discrimination to equal things out. At the moment, it's perfectly lawful for forces to encourage people from different backgrounds to join the police and to provide additional support for them, to enable them to feel a lot more welcome in an area where they may not have felt welcome before. Perfectly normal, perfectly legal, perfectly appropriate, I'd say. I'm actually doing some of that work for Nottinghamshire Constabulary at the moment. I'm working with Notts Constabulary on their positive action scheme. I've got about 120 plus people on their positive action scheme who I'm coaching, supporting, enabling, preparing them for the recruitment process so they can be the best version of themselves that they can be. However, there's a problem with positive discrimination because that creates quotas, and on Twitter and elsewhere I've seen a lot of black Asian officers saying, actually, we don't want this, we want to be employed on our merits, not to fill quotas, and how actually it would be harmful more than beneficial. But it's been tried before. Police Service of Northern Ireland had a quota system to raise the number of Catholic officers in the force, and it did its job. It did its job, but there's talk now about reintroducing that. And you know, Sir Peter Fahey, previous Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, I do believe Bernard Hogan Howe, the previous Commissioner of the Met Police, they've all commented that it might be time to consider positive discrimination. So again, it's on the table as something that's being discussed. I've got a big problem with positive discrimination now, and it's not the one everyone else is talking about. Because if you've got that quota system and you're pulling more people into a recruitment process, they're still up against a recruitment process which discriminates against them. Now, I don't think it's the people in the recruitment process who are discriminating, but there's something about the system that's discriminating, and no one knows why. So for the past several years, the percentage of black, Asian, minority ethnic individuals who are passing the National Search Assessment Centre compared to white British is massive. The difference is massive. So around 70%, 65 to 70% of all candidates will pass the Search Assessment Centre. The data doesn't reveal whether it's first time or second time, third time. They are candidates and they pass. That's the sort of pass rate, but it doesn't say whether it's first time pass, second time pass, third time pass, or either fourth or fifth. But there's a difference of, according to College of Policing, between 15 and 25%. So, and the same with the day one as well. There's a new evaluation of the day one coming out soon. This is the replacement for the Search Assessment Centre. But in the interim evaluation, got the data here, 71% of white British were passing the day one, and only 50% of black, Asian, minority ethnic. 72% are passing who've got English as a first language, but only 40% are passing who have English as a second language. So first language 72%, second language English 40%. So what's going on there? Well, the College of Policing have suggested that it may be lowering standards in the SIFT process, but what they're trying to say there? Well, they're trying to say that forces are deliberately lowering the standards for black, Asian, minority ethnic individuals. And a lot of forces now are putting their assessors through unconscious bias training, and they're actually removing the bias by, when the application form is marked, it doesn't indicate the nationality, the background, the cultural background, the ethnicity of the individual who's being assessed. It just gives their evidence. So lowering standards in the sifting process, it's just a suggestion. But look, there's a bottom line here, folks. No one really knows. I've asked at conferences in the past, no one's known. I've asked chief officers, they're just guessing. There's one chief officer out there, chief constable. I'm not going to say who it is just because I think it might be a bit embarrassing for them. But on Twitter, the best they could say is, everyone knows that search throws up adverse results, but no one knows why. Well, come on, chiefs, commission the research. Don't just leave it to the College of Policing. They're the ones responsible for the recruitment process. It's a bit like the policing themselves. You know, this is why we've got an independent police complaints process, so that we can look independently at what's going wrong. Well, I'd suggest the College of Policing are the wrong people to look at what's going wrong in their assessment process. So before we start discussing positive discrimination, positive action, I think we just need to get our house in order. And that's going to take a little bit of time, but we haven't got much time. We need to do something, we need to do something radically different. Now, I've got loads of ideas about what radically different might look like. I picked a lot of it up from other police forces in other countries, and one or two forces in this country as well, who I think are doing some outstanding work in ensuring that their communities are accurately represented in their police service. And that's why I'm working with Nottinghamshire, because I've got such a lot of time for them and what they're trying to achieve and how they're trying to achieve it. It's not a box ticking exercise for them. This is real for them. This is the right thing to do, and they're investing a huge amount of resources into making sure they recruit the best people in Nottinghamshire or outside of Nottinghamshire to work in Nottinghamshire to accurately represent the communities that they're a part of. One little thing I'll leave you with, it's just a little idea, I quite like this, is one I saw at the Peel Regional Police in Canada. This is an area that I do believe has got about 60% of the population is Black, Asian, minority ethnic, and their representation on the front line is pushing 80%, I believe, and they've got incredible retention as well. Their retention is incredible. I can't remember what the data is around it, but it's far better than anything we've got in this country. So they must be doing something right. And one of the things that I think they do right is everyone in the force is seen as an ambassador for recruitment. So in this country, we've got positive action teams. They go out, it's their job. It's their job to go and find people, get people who are Black, Asian, minority ethnic, LGBT, from all sorts of different diverse communities to come to their workshops, come to our positive action workshops, and we'll help support you. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I think it's great. And I run some of those workshops, so I'm not going to decry them. But it's seen as their role. What would it be like if we had a culture where it's everyone's role, where there's an expectation that you play a part in recruiting the very best people from all parts of the community by being an ambassador, by being a mentor. Now there's superintendents, sergeants, inspectors and above in the Peel Regional Police who volunteer in the community because it's expected as part of their role to volunteer in the community, to be part of that community that they serve. They're a part of that community. It goes all the way back to the Peelian Principles, Peel Regional Police, Peelian Principles. I do believe the service was named after Sir Robert Peel. I'm quite sure Sir Robert Peel back in 1829 would have liked this idea, the idea that you encourage people to be of service, to be part of their community, to give something back, to be active citizens. And maybe, just maybe, through all of that mentoring and support, they decide to join the police because they've got incredible role models who don't necessarily have to be from the same ethnicity or background as them. What an investment. But what sort of change would that require in the British Police Service to make that happen? Now, it's taken place in Peel, it's taken place in Canada. So what's stopping that happening here? I just think it's just something interesting to look at there. It's just an idea. But also on top of that, let's take a look at the assessment process, because clearly something is going wrong. Clearly. The adverse impact ratio is less than 0.80. In the United States, that would be unlawful and you wouldn't be able to do it. So there's something going wrong there, folks. Anyway, if you've got any ideas on this or any thoughts, please do contribute to the debate. If you're watching this in my Facebook group, which has got almost 10,000 people in it. Oh my goodness, it started off a few years ago with just one person. That was me. And now it's got almost 10,000 people in it. A lot of HR officers, a lot of serving police officers, a lot of people who aspire to be police officers, a lot of people going through the process, a lot of people waiting to go through the process. Come and join us. Come and join us and keep that debate going. Link below in the blurb, whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, you'll find the link below, or LinkedIn. Come and join us, come and join that debate. Whether you're a serving officer or an aspiring officer, come and join us and help support each other, not just to get through the recruitment process, but to enable each other to have the most successful and fulfilling careers ever. That's what we're after. That's what the group's about. And if you'd like to find a little bit more about my other services, talk there about the sort of coaching I do, one-to-one coaching seminars, online courses, to help prepare you for the recruitment process, no matter what background you're from, then you'll find some links below as well. And contribute to the debate, because as Phil Kane, the Deputy Chief Constable of North Yorkshire Police, said on Twitter, this needs a serious debate. But we can't keep debating this because it's been debated over and over again for decades and decades and decades. I'd say debate it, serious debate, and start taking action. Because we can't wait 100 years to have a police service that represents the communities that we're a part of. 2120 is not a good time to be celebrating the fact we've got true representation in our police service. Why can't we accelerate that and make it 5 years' time? Hey, 3 years' time. Why not? Why is that not possible? Why have we got to wait 100 years? You let me know. Comments below, get involved in the debate, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.